Dude, are you drunk?
Maybe.
Welcome to the Booze and Bros podcast, where hosts Matt Lytle and Chris Califf discuss everything paranormal, cryptic, horror, true crime, and of course, booze. So grab your favorite beverage and come have a drink with the Booze and Bros.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Booze and Bros podcast, episode 10, where we end the year talking about Ghost Loop, the TV show that we were on.
The only thing you guys really give a shit about, like, you guys have probably been waiting this whole time. Why the they've been sitting here drinking, talking about random shit like the Headless Horseman and Bloody Mary and fucking butt stuff. Why have they not talked about the show they were on? Like, why? Why?
Like, honestly, like, we didn't even talk about doing Ghost Loop for our first episode. We were like, let's do something fun. Let's just talk about ghosts. We didn't even think about Ghost Loop until like halfway.
Maddie, have you watched the episode back yet? Like, have you gone, and now that we're at 10 episodes, have you gone back to actually look at that first episode?
I have not watched our first episode.
Oh, man. It's like, first off, my facial hairstyle has changed on the YouTube side of this 9 times. It's different every fucking time we do this.
I think
this is, yeah, it's pretty much what happens. But outside of that, man, like, that first one, to see how we're kind of feeling it out, ebbing and flowing, and trying to find our rhythm, it's kind of cringy, man. It's kind of cringy.
Is it?
Yeah.
It happens, man. I mean, think about, like, okay, actually, that's a really good segue into let's talk about filming our first episode. But first, everybody knows that we drink on Booze and Bros. I'm so excited for this drink, dude. This is my favorite drink that we have had the past 10 episodes.
And for those of you just tuning in, just so you know, myself, I am the one, the only, the bearded wonder, the alpha, the omega, the beginning, the end, the light of the world, the breaker and the destroyer of the universe. I am Chris Califf.
Wow, your like audio, like that was a real big spike on the audio because you got so loud, but that's what you do. I mean, I don't hype myself up as much as I hype other people up. So I'm your host, Matt Lytle, and a really tight gray t-shirt.
He's over the top. I would be in flannel, but like I said, before we started filming this, I actually went and looked through the entire closet and realized that my flannel was all in storage because, fun fact, first Ghost Loop thing, number 1, I fucking hate flannel.
But you hated it before we even filmed with you.
And before you wonder, I'm going to get this out the way in the beginning as well. Before you wonder, oh, okay, we're talking Ghost Loop. Caleb's going to give us some answers. He's going to tell us some stuff. Matt's going to ask him the real questions, the right questions. I wear gloves because I can.
Yep. There you go. So we won't have to get into that because that was one of the main questions I got posting everything about Ghost Loop. When it was an investigating photo, it was you with gloves, and that would be the number 1 question. Here, you can wear my plaid shirt too, by the way.
That'd be cool if we could edit that for me to actually be wearing it. You know, like if we could have like actually edited that, that'd been sick.
That would have been so sick.
But we're not that
cool. But yeah, exactly. So let's get back to the drink. Dun, da, da, da.
Wow. So I figure this is like our souls, where yours is murky and dark blue, crystal clear here. Oh, look at that! Look at that beauty! Look at the beauty of this drink.
Dude, yours looks like. You ever been to a zoo and go to a dolphin show and like their huge like pool, the color of that water? That's what yours is right now.
You look like somebody peed in the pool and you scooped up the water. So eat me, bitch.
That is very true because this is called an AMF, an adios motherfucker. And the reason we chose these drinks, Califf, is because cheers.
Ghost Loop's dead, bitch.
Wow, I was going to say because of everything we went through from being cast for the show to now has been just so much shit thrown into a pile. And that's what this drink is. All right, man. Cheers to talking about Ghost Loop and giving people what they want.
I don't like that.
By the way, What is in this drink, Caleb? You know what? I'll just say it.
Thank you, because if you leave it to me again, we're gonna have more of our 4 people watching being like, he said that wrong.
So for those of you who aren't old enough to drink or who have never been to a bar or who haven't experienced the worst hangover ever, an Adios motherfucker has gin, vodka, rum, tequila, sweet and sour mix, 7-Up, and the reason why it's blue is because what's in it, Caleb?
I don't remember. Smurf blood.
Whatever, dude. It's blue. According to what do you call it? Caraco.
It's like cacao, but the
Cacao. That's what it is. Cacao. Yeah.
Cacao.
That's what's in it. That's what makes it blue. And I have pineapple juice because sweet and sour is way too sweet, so pineapple just tastes better. And then you have lemonade, which is why yours is a different color, blue.
Time out. You have to edit this. My pros keep popping out. I'm just gonna plug in the wired headphones. Hold on one second.
Okay. Okay,
Oh,
so
shit,
so
okay.
Ghost Loop.
Okay.
So before we get into the first week of filming.
No, I gotta cut you off. You think of the name Ghost Loop. You think of the Ghost Loop, right? And one of the first things that we ever thought about was like merch, right? Ghost Loop merch. What can we do? What can we do? The 2 things that have always rung true to me were simply this cereal, because fucking cereal, Ghost Loop. Well, Ghost Loops.
Ghost Loops.
But then
That would be
But
great.
then cock rings, right? Cock rings called Ghost Loops. I'm gonna break this Ghost Loop, bitch. I'm gonna break this Ghost Loop. Like, imagine an alien doing butt stuff on you with a Ghost Loop cock ring. It's like it's not even there.
I mean, me personally, I'd be like, dude, that's our show.
And we're wrapped. See, that's how it's done.
Oh my god. Oh
Or
my gosh.
condoms called
Okay.
Ghost Loops, and your slogan could be either "Don't break the loop," or it feels like it's not even there. One of the 2. So
You have clearly thought about this.
I have a lot of free time on my hands sometimes, and I clearly should not be left alone.
Oh my god. Okay.
So let's talk about Houston. Houston, episode 1, Houston.
Episode 1, Houston.
The Spirit Chasers in Houston, Texas.
I remember watching the episode in the B-roll shot of Houston. Like it was like the first shot of the first episode. I remember having a what did you do for Houston episode? Before we get into like when we were actually filming it, like December 27, 2019 was when we aired our first episode. What were you doing at that time?
Well, I know I was talking to you on FaceTime when we first went on,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a group of friends pre-COVID, more than 6 people from 2 different households. #COVID. And I had a little bit of a get together for the pre-#COVID lifestyle, and it was kind of weird because I've done a lot of things in my life, but watching yourself air on national television, it's crazy. But then being the first guy ghost hunting to tell one of your teammates you're going to break their nose on national TV, it doesn't give you a good starting point for your character.
No, it didn't. It didn't. But here's the thing though, like people, I mean, they looked at you, like whatever the fuck was in that house, obviously like was messing with all of us, clearly, which we'll get into, but people at home, there's multiple people who believe you just wanted to beat the shit out of Sean.
Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people thought that Sean and I were bidding for, and this started episode 1, we're bidding for the leadership role. I loved my job. Being the historian, being the research guy, being the guy that got to ask the questions and dig in and do a lot of stuff, that was my niche. That was my thing. I didn't want Sean's job. I sure as hell know Sean didn't want my job. So the idea that, I was just going to come unglued and whoop his ass because he was the leader of the team, that's horseshit. I'm going to debunk that right now.
It's false. About it. It's made up by a bunch of fans of all of us. It's just like, but that's being on TV, man. I mean, if a scenario like that happens, it's not in our control to make whatever it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, it's the fans.
We don't edit the show.
Watching it.
We don't edit the show, or we don't watch the show. We go where the evidence allots us to go. One of the best things about Houston that I saw was that one article that fucking like literally broke it down scene for scene. We did everything we were supposed to do. And if people have a problem with that, cool, whatever. I think that Houston really set the tone that we were bringing something brand new to TV that people weren't ready for. Because they weren't ready to take an intelligent haunting and a residual haunting and mesh them together. They weren't. They weren't ready for that at all.
We were. Yeah.
They were ready for, they were ready for Ghost Adventures 2.0, which we were definitely not. We brought a different flair. And every member of the team, via the episode, you saw what we brought. I mean, it just showed that we were a bunch of passionate people that had the same overall goal, which was helping people. We just had different avenues and different ways of getting there. So, like I said, the biggest thing I want to debunk right now before we go any further and talk about Ghost Loop, I was not, first off, wanting to be a lead at all. You can ask Matt. We had this conversation how many times before we went on the road?
Way too many.
Yeah. Two, at no point did I want to whoop Sean's ass and not, because if I wanted to, I would have, and I didn't, because I didn't need to. So for all those people out there in fantasy and make-believe land, they were like, oh, Caleb fucking wanted to fuck Sean up. No, sorry, no. Like, I hate to burst that bubble.
And I mean, and you would to be honest with you, you're not a guy who, you would tell it straight up. If you did want to, then you would have, but you would say it right now. You're not a guy who would get on here and lie about this shit.
I don't need to.
Wow, we're getting really deep, and we just started talking about Houston.
But that's the thing is Houston set the tone for Sean and I for the entire fucking season, and it's funny because I also think that Sean and I pulled a really cool chemistry. We both brought from each other, I think, the best emotion. I think we derived the best emotion from each other, outside of you and I, clearly, because we're the shit. I think that was a really big piece that Sean and I brought, because he was so spiritual in his beliefs. And I was so me, which is stuck in my own beliefs. I think that played for really good TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, again, people will have their own opinions about you and your character, and same with Sean and both of you guys' relationship. But I mean, at the end of the day, I totally agree with you. I mean, you guys ended up being just kind of attached in a different way,
So Houston, dude, you got scratched by a fucking ghost.
Bro, it wasn't a scratch. It was like something slapped the shit out of my neck. Remember? It was burning. You just posted a photo of it the other day.
I know what it is. It was a ghost teabag.
Probably. Exactly.
I'm really surprised that for you, somebody who was honing into their own skills and coming into that empathness, that it picked off Chris first, which fucking pissed me off. And I think that's where I got tagged, right? Because it picked off Chris first. She had a bolt, and then it went for you. And the moment it went for you, I was I was furious, and I feel like that got played off of.
Yeah. I mean, literally, that whole thing happened, and I had to step out, and obviously Chris and I sat there on the porch, and we're like, dude, we gotta she had to leave. I was gonna stay because that's just not me personally as an investigator. I'd never leave the location. And then right after that, that's when you had your moment. I went back in and investigated with Sean and Eric, and that's when you got frustrated, and it was just dude, whatever was there, which I believe was, the man who beat the shit out of his girlfriend and got popped in the back of the head. He hated us being there, man. He's he hated girls. So Chris was the first one he targeted. And then he just went for, me and you were the ones investigating with her first. So why not go for you and I?
But sitting back, so Trigger Night, right? You go back to Trigger Night for Houston. And sitting back there at HQ and watching the videos and watching you do your thing was one of the coolest things, because so for those of you who don't know, Matt's not a greenhorn in the paranormal. I know that's what the edit showed, but he's not. But to watch you come in your own and kind of take the lead of that trigger environment, especially with the gun, that was, for me, it was a super empowering moment, because I was I saw the strength there. And it re-empowered me, because I was watching you, I was watching Chris, I was watching Sean and Eric, and to see everybody kind of come together, it reinvigorated and re-empowered me, because I got to watch you guys all step back up and kind of reunite, which was kind of the theme for Ghost Loop. It was always, there was this tension, really something that was really trying to break us, then us coming together to win.
And that was, yeah, like you just said, it was the whole arc of the show. And that, I mean, dude, that wasn't on purpose or anything. Like, it's just how it was. There was people getting picked off on our team. There was, you know, an argument of the team. There was somebody not being there. It was just like all of that. But at the end, in order to close the ghost loop, in order to, you know, move the spirit on and help this family or these families, we had to do it as a unit, man. We had to do it. And that's one thing that I love seeing from Houston episode all the way to Washington, you know, and yeah, but Houston was an experience. I do want to say this hat is from the Buffalo Soldier Museum that you and I got to interview people. This was our first time where you and me got to actually do interviews together. And you also have a hat from there. And it was such an experience. And getting to like interview with you as well. It was like day 3 of filming. It was so fun, man. Houston, It was a great city. It is a great city. It was hot as balls in early September.
Fuck, that was awful. Walking outside to have a, you know, smoke at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning because we're hungover or still drunk, and it's still 80 degrees out. It was bad.
Oh yeah,
it was bad.
85. Yeah, it was bad. But
but
yeah, all in all, from Houston, for me, I when you say, you know, the whole trigger environment night, you know me, and a lot of you guys watching this, I've said to before, but I always like to put myself into the spirit's shoes. I like to almost, you know, act as that spirit, or put like literally
that
be
conduit.
that spirit.
That conduit, essentially.
And I think that is what really gets you evidence, and that's what gets you. And again, I mean, we'll talk about it in episode 3, but sometimes it's dangerous and you can open yourself up a little too much. But that's just how I investigate. Put myself in their shoes, and that's just how it is. And obviously, doing that, having Chris put the gun to the back of my head, we ended up getting crazy voices, and we sent that spirit to the light, and it worked. So like you said, we all had different ways to do it, but at the end of the day, we all came together, and we were able to help Rebecca and send that spirit up.
So I do want to talk about a couple behind the scene things from Houston. One being, I mean, we show up for Houston ready to go, ready to start filming. And my God, the first night we were there, do you remember what happened the first night we were there?
We got drunk?
Like shitty drunk.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we lost the cord for the DVR. So we had to fucking go find Best Buy the next day. And then we couldn't find it at Best Buy, so we had to fucking order it on Amazon.
DVR, as in, you guys remember the night vision cameras that were like placed in the corners of the houses? That's what he's talking about. We lost the whole cord, which means we couldn't use it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the most important 4-prong cord for the power source for it was gone. Yeah, that was kind of like devastating to have to deal with. So we walked, mind you, from our hotel to Best Buy to look for it. Couldn't find it, so we had to do it on it. We had to find it on Amazon. Oh, it sucked.
Yeah, no worries.
But
it came to Houston.
We kind of got a cool little view of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
But
and then the malls.
I gotta say,
was fun.
One of the that therein lies and begins the tradition, right? It kind of sets the pace for the entirety of the time we were on the road. Malls.
Yeah, we're tourists, man.
But,
when we go to these places and film, we're tourists. We like to, you know, when we're off, we don't sit in our hotel room. We like to go explore the city. Yeah, we should rest because we stay up till 3 a.m. every night investigating. But we're in Houston. We're in St. Augustine. Like, we're in wherever. We're in Lubbock, Texas, which actually, that was episode 2. Lubbock, Texas.
Which let's talk about. I want to talk real quick about the traveling from Houston to Lubbock.
Dude, that's what I was going to talk about.
One of the worst experiences of my life happened.
Okay.
On that fucking trip.
Go to details. So we drove from Houston to Lubbock, which is about an 8 to 9 hour drive, going northwest Texas. So on the way, go ahead, Caleb. You take it from here.
So we stopped in Waco and had In-N-Out. And after we had In-N-Out, I wasn't feeling too great. So we ended up driving.
In-N-Out in Texas, not a good idea, by the way. Do
Yeah.
it in California. But anyways, go ahead.
So
say that.
we're driving somewhere in the middle between bumfuck Egypt and bumfuck wherever, and my stomach turns. So I'm like, stop fucking car. I have to get out the fucking car. I run to the fucking bushes, throw up on myself, damn near piss and shit myself. Okay. Like I'm violently sick, like this type of thing. I'm trying
Dude,
to
it was
pee
bad.
I'm trying to pee at the same time, trying not to shit myself. Like this giant fucking just amalgam of bad shit happening to me all at once. Like my body is fucked. So
Did you throw up on a plaid shirt?
no, I threw up on myself. So my Under Armour shoes that I had at the time, the UA shoes, I had to throw away my UA shoes because they had fucking puke in them. Fucking, I threw up all over myself. It was bad. It was fucking bad. Like I'm sitting there trying to fucking pee and throw up and fucking like, it was the worst possible thing. If COVID hit me like that, that would have been scary. But you know,
I was in the car. So it was me, you, our story producer, and our showrunner, which is technically the director. If just so you guys know. So we felt so bad. I mean, we were on the side of the road for literally a half hour, like in the middle of nowhere, Texas, hot Texas, and Caliph is just running to the literally a couple trees that were there, like behind the van, and just starts, and we're just like, well, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. Like, we might be trying to keep up with the crew, but like, it is what it is. I felt terrible, man. I felt so bad.
Oh, dude, it was fucking brutal. That was heavy. But I do have to say that was funny because then when we got to Lubbock, fucking Mary walks up with a bag. Mary is our producer, who, by the way, Mary, if you ever watch these podcasts, I love you to death and I always will. You were the best teacher possible.
I second
Mary
that.
Mary hands me his bag, and it's got 4 things of Pedialyte. 4 things of Pedialyte. And she goes, I want 2 of these drank today and 2 of these drank before you're on set tomorrow.
Wow. And you did it.
So
because you love
Pedialyte,
weirdo.
Well, it was because of that that's the funny part you don't understand. It's because of that I do. I had never had Pedialyte until Lubbock, Texas.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought that was just like a thing that you always drink.
No, fun fact. I did not, because you go back to fucking Houston. What was I drinking, Matt? Whenever we were not filming, where did we go?
Oh, in Houston?
Yeah. We'd go to Walmart, and what would I buy?
Monsters. You'd buy energy drinks.
Goddamn right. You goddamn right. And who did that piss off more than anything? Mary,
yeah. She hated it because you drink multiple a day. So Lubbock,
I still do.
Lubbock was probably our second episode. When it comes to not being on camera, was probably the craziest shit that ever happened. When we were there the first night, me, Caleb, literally all of us were sitting around a bonfire at our hotel. All of the crew, probably 20 people total. And Sean was up in his room, and this was probably like 1:45 a.m. A couple people had left by then, including Sean. And Sean shoots me a text and was like, dude, I was just visited by something fucking scary as shit. I don't know what it is. He called himself the tall man, and he literally, this long text message describing this dark, tall entity, like doing this with like nails in his face, like, ugh, you know what I mean? And this is before you and I didn't know history. No one knew history about it. The location we were going to, that is. And obviously you guys have seen the episode, and that's exactly what was there. But Caleb, I want you to talk to me about the tire getting blown off our car on the way there.
Oh man, that was fucking crazy. So I remember when that aired, people were like, dude, like one of the questions that I got outside of like gloves and all that shit was, dude, was that staged? So we're on our way to set. I've got my earbuds in. Matt and I are always sitting in the back of the fucking rig. Matt's got his earbuds in.
When he says set, he means the location that we're investigating.
Yeah. I think that you were listening to a game. I was listening to metal or something of the sort. I remember being like, this is kind of getting to be a bumpy ride. And then there's a thud. I look out my window and I watch the tire just boop, 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 boop. And then the whole fucking car just goes boom. And I'm like,
whoa. Dude, remember we were grinding on that road. We thought there was like,
first off,
felt like there was like 50 motorcycles driving by us really fast. We were like,
Malia, fucking our coordinator, saved the rig, didn't wreck. I mean, kudos to Malia for knowing how to drive.
She saved our lives.
Pull off the side of the road. Yeah, pull off the side of the road. And that tire must have shot, 100, 150 yards out
Easily,
into a church parking lot.
Easily. Isn't that ironic? A church parking lot went across the highway, didn't hit a car.
No.
Just saying.
So that was definitely a weird experience. Clearly, you have more stock in the fact that it was paranormal. I have more stock in the fact that it was mechanical, but it is what it is. What it is. Do I think that the production house tried to kill us? No. It was definitely it was a crazy experience. However, Lubbock to me, one, watching it and filming it, it's funny because Lubbock was my favorite time on the road. Like I'll pause here and just say, out of all the episodes that we filmed, out of all 8, our first season, Lubbock was my favorite to watch, and Lubbock was my favorite to film. Hands down.
And that was only our second episode too. That's just crazy. Remember we saw it chapter 2.
My best one-liners came in Lubbock.
Something's pissed. Yeah, dude.
That's
pissed. Classic. The trigger environment for Lubbock, the train in the living room.
Oh, dude. Michelle and Travis, our fucking art department, Michelle and Travis, they killed it. Like everywhere they went, they killed it. Don't get me wrong. They killed it everywhere we fucking did something. But my God, did they kill it when we were in fucking Lubbock. Like, to make a room look like a train car, that's silly.
Bro, when Michelle told me that, who's our production designer, she told me that that was the plan. I was like, dude, I literally can't picture this. And then next thing you know, we walked in, dude, we felt like we were in a freaking train. Like, it was insane.
It was crazy.
And it worked. It worked, man. That house was so active that night when we investigated. Oh my God, man. And the thunderstorm at the very end.
Also,
dude,
Lubbock
that shit
was the
not
first time
staged.
Oh, that was crazy.
Gross.
Lubbock was also the
Go
first time that I talked about my suicide story. Okay.
When did you talk about
Lubbock was also the first time that for the crew that we were out by the fire. I think it was right before turning in Lubbock.
You mean off camera?
Yeah, off camera. We were sitting by the fire, and it was the first time that anybody had really heard that whole suicide story.
Besides me.
Because, I mean, you'd know. But, I mean, you know this is fucking Cali. But it was crazy because I remember Harry Potter, Daniel was there. And I just remember him sitting there just being like, what the fuck? You know? And it kind of really started to show that, like, as we got to Lubbock, that family between us with the crew, that family vibe really started to build. Because, I mean, in Lubbock, we had that one dude, that one cat, who we had no idea who the fuck he was, but bought us 2 boxes of booze.
Big old boxes.
Like, yeah. I had enough Tito's from Lubbock on. Hashtag Tito's, hashtag sponsor us. Anyway.
I had Busch beer.
For like days.
Yeah. I had Busch beer going into Alabama, which was the next episode. Yeah. And of course, killed it there.
Well, good segue to Bama. Good segue to Bama. Like, Bama. We arrived at
episode
Bama.
3.
That was fucking like, Bama was the first time I didn't want to be there. Like, Bama for me, I remember driving up to the house, and we had to park on the side of the road because we were waiting for something. And I just remember, like, this is the first time, like, I was like, I don't want to fucking be here. Like, not just be here in Bama. I didn't want to be on the road anymore. Like, I just was like, I was done. There was something about Bama. I don't know. To this day, I still couldn't figure it out. Because Bama turned out to be like, Bama turned out to be great. I have a lot of great memories from Bama. You know, we had your fucking birthday week in Bama. The people we helped in Bama were actually really fucking cool. The property we were on in Bama was, wow.
Awesome. I loved investigating their place.
But also being in Selma to learn the history of, like, the march between Selma and Montgomery, and to learn about all of that stuff. And you know, I know systemic racism is a thing that we're talking about now, but learning about institutional racism, learning about how they have no infrastructure to get out of there, it was a really heavy experience to be able to look at the world from a different set of eyes. I remember being on the bridge in Selma, and I remember you breaking down.
I cried, bro. Like, I don't like, whatever, man. Like, call me what you want. Like, emotions are emotions. We have a cameo from a dog.
Taco realized that you were sad, so he wanted to come up here and cuddle.
Oh, thanks, Taco.
Good boy. You give me cuddles.
So if
Oh,
you guys
good
are listening to
boy.
this,
Good boy.
we also
You
have a
throw up in
YouTube
my face.
page where you can see this dog. He's adorable. He literally looks like the Taco Bell dog, except cuter. And he doesn't smell like a Crunchwrap Supreme. Bama was one hell of a week for me personally, bro. I mean, you obviously know it was my 26th birthday, and we got absolutely destroyed with alcohol. I
Oh, that was so
smoked
good.
I'll admit right now, I smoked a full cigarette for the first time in my life. No thanks to you. So
I didn't even offer that night. You just
but
took
I
it out of
did.
my hand.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You took it out of my hand.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So I apologize, but not really. It was great.
Good boy.
Bye, Taco.
Good boy.
So
Anyway,
so Bama obviously you guys know what happened with the investigation, and this goes back to me opening myself up and being the same person that the spirit was when they died. This is when it did cross the line, and yeah, I mean something got in me, and don't remember much of it. I just remember, being very, 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 very angry after I left the trigger environment. I was frustrated. I don't know. I mean, it's just like this drink right now. Like, it was just a mix of emotions. But I remember when Sean put the holy water on my forehead, it wasn't like an owl burn, but it was like, okay, this is just pure water. It shouldn't be, it should just feel like water. And it didn't, because it stung a little bit. And I told him, I'm like, dude, it stings a little bit. He's like, get the fuck out. So that was crossing the line. I don't regret any of it. If we did that again, I would open myself up even more, like 100%, because it's about the experience.
well, here's the joy about that particular thing that happened. So, like, clearly they caught the interaction between Sean and I on camera, right? Like, okay, Caleb and Sean are button heads, and this is where that whole leader debacle really took off. Was okay, Caleb's our leader. No, my problem is simply this. I felt like your safety wasn't being looked after. You were supposed to be kind of, I guess, training would be the right word under Sean as far as your empath shit goes. And he put you in position for something potentially bad to happen. So I was fucking irate. I was pissed. And it wasn't possession. I wasn't influenced by anything. I was just fucking pissed because I'm watching my brother be taken over by something and nobody's doing shit about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to whoop somebody's ass. At least that'll make me feel better in the process. But what they didn't show on the show is funny because as much as I ripped Sean a new asshole in that episode, I ripped you a new asshole. What did I tell you?
Yeah, you did.
What did I tell you?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I should break your fucking face.
Oh yeah, that's
for opening
right.
yourself up like that.
All right, so we paused the recording, by the way, because I had to make another drink. I wasn't gonna just have one of these adios motherfuckers. So
I mean, you gotta get fucked up, man. I'm already like, it's funny.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm about halfway through, and I got one hell of a good buzz going on right now. But let's be real. I mean, before we did film, I did chug a trash can, which is just an amalgam of just different shit thrown in a drink. So I'm feeling pretty good right now, man. Like, I got a good buzz. Like, the happiness is rolling through me. I'm not that drunk. I'm at that good buzz, which means I'm going to be fucked up and have a 15-minute tirade at the end of this bitch. So,
dude, a good buzz. I like it. The good buzz. We'll use that as a hashtag, the good buzz. So yeah, we've talked about the first three pretty hardcore. So number 4 was Florida.
The second best rated episode of our series.
And
because
Florida
and Utah were the 2 best rated. Those pulled in 500,000 viewers per episode. And Matt, what was the difference in those 2 episodes versus every other episode?
The storyline was around you.
I had a heart.
There you
I
go.
wasn't being a dick. Florida was insane because Florida was technically the first one we filmed. We filmed that one in May of 2019 versus everything else in the fall of 2019. And that was crazy because different producer, different director. We had no idea what the fuck we were doing. It was a clusterfuck the entire week that we were there filming. But it was so emotional. We had crew members dropping like flies sick.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah, the crew was different. It was the first episode, so we were still trying to get, our feet underneath us, and we had a crew member. He literally had his first ever paranormal experience, and he got choked when he was at base camp, the crew base camp, not ours, but the crew's, which was a tent outside the house.
I had my first
We
ever
really got drunk
Cosmo.
together.
I had my first ever Cosmo and my first ever margarita in St. Augustine, Florida. Florida was really, really cool because it was still, there was the innocence of filming.
Mhm.
And then the way that hunt went, and having, being a dad and having to deal with that shit and, whatnot. And then having experience of seeing something in the ground,
That was
It
intense,
was-
dude.
it was
Never seen you like that before in my life. To this
until
day.
Utah.
Florida was the first time. I mean, obviously, it was our first episode filmed, and we stayed in St. Augustine, Florida, which is why we talked about that earlier. But we did film in Palatka, Florida, which was an hour away from it, like in the middle of nowhere. And that's the first time that I really truly believe that these trigger environments worked. Like I've never been huge on trigger objects, but I knew that they worked. But I've never been like, oh, I'm going to take a ball to a place that has a little child. If the little toys are there, then I'll play with it, whatever. But dude, the trigger environment when what was the big jukebox thing called that Sean had?
I know it was a spirit box. I can't remember the fucking name of it though. But
Yeah.
I remember it blowing up in the fucking crib.
Yeah, it blew up inside the crib while we
Hi,
were
Matt.
outside.
Hi, Matt.
Hi,
Hi,
Taco.
Matt. Seriously, man, this dog, right? So, he is, if you watch him, he'll curl up right in the nook and want to be held like a baby. This little dog loves cuddles. Don't you? That was my eyeball, you little shit. Hey, Matt.
Oh, he's got balls. It's a boy.
He's a boy. Anyway,
okay.
Florida was rad, but heavy emotional. I was really impressed when we got to see the first cuts of Florida. Especially that ending scene, the team uniting around the idea of setting her free and reuniting with her kid. But then that brought us to to Illinois. Next was the next one. And that one, it's almost like the production house was like, Caleb and Matt are peanut butter and jelly. Put them together and let them go.
From then on, we investigated together only. That was it.
Yep.
Illinois was probably my favorite hunt. I mean, all of them were so great, but Illinois, being up in that attic, knowing what we were up against, the abuse that spirit took when she was alive. I mean, it was very relatable for you. You know what I mean?
Well, Mary being a smart broad, I didn't realize that built my story arc, right? As my character, that's where my story arc really started. Because if you remember the night we were doing the trigger environment, I walked off set. I legit walked off set that night. I had a buddy.
Why?
I had a buddy. I had to talk off the ledge. He was getting ready to try to commit suicide. Plus, the chick there had hung herself. And that clearly is personally relatable to me. So the emotions there were really, really, really heavy. It was beautiful to watch Chris cross something over. It was beautiful to see her connection.
That was so great.
That was that made me super happy to know that stuff. But that one for me, what was your favorite? Because the location was beautiful. The people in that city were great. The mall was fun.
City. You mean the 400 people that were in that little town? I don't even know if there were 400. Man, I mean, the thing that I really loved about Illinois was the fact, you and me obviously investigated together. Chris crossing people over, or the spirits over. Yeah, our war room scene was in a bar, and I got to drink a bush while we did it. I knew our future had alcohol and the supernatural involved, and here we are right now until the next step.
It's
Maryland.
No, bro.
Maryland might have been my favorite.
I can't remember her name, but that old lady that fucking owned that house, I loved her so much.
It was like Mary or something. I don't remember.
Her and her old man.
But
I loved
Gary. Wasn't it Gary and something? It was Gary was the man. But man, dude, they had a lot of fucking spiritual activity in that bitch, like from different dimensions. Like it was like all sorts of stuff just happening. And man, I'm telling you, like the stuff that you and I ran into in the attic with Eric, and like you and me going in the backyard, dude, to this day, like I've never felt anything like spiritually, like ghost hunting, so depressing than the energy I felt in the backyard with you, bro. I mean, it was so intense, man.
That was a crazy investigation. But like, the one thing I will always reference when it comes to Maryland was when you, Eric, and I were in the kitchen. And we were watching. It was Chris and Sean in the trigger environment. We were watching. We started talking a lot about the old lady pushing her old man off the cart, and that process as we filmed the show. And what we did, because it was so much on the fly, so much like, all right, well, we think it's this. Wait, it could be fucking this, right?
Yeah, that wasn't stage or any. Like that was pure, just you, me, and Eric talking about what it could be, and then you're like, hey, maybe it was just a little push, and we're like, oh my god, what if that woman pushed her husband off the freaking wagon? Because we were talking about how evil she was. Why is she evil? We didn't know. We just knew she was evil because that's what we researched, right?
Well, that was another fun one for me to film because Maryland, like, I really enjoyed being in Maryland and filming in Maryland. That was fun for me. And a lot of it was because I knew we were on the home stretch. But, like, that case in itself where we were hunting, what we were doing, that one was, I don't know, it was refreshing. It was refreshing to do Maryland, be in Maryland, and to feel, united when we did that one.
Yeah.
But then that brings us
was good vibes to episode 7, which was Washington. And to be honest with you, I want to start this one off. I've never been to Seattle, Washington. It is a absolutely gorgeous place. The Pacific Northwest is gorgeous. Well, at least Seattle is gorgeous. It was the last episode we filmed, but it was aired the 7th for obvious reasons, which we'll get into. But the investigation itself was cool. That was some of the best SLS camera evidence that I've ever seen in my life, especially when we were rolling the ball back and forth with the little kid's spirit and it freaking showed up next to you. Oh my God. And it literally like was trying to roll the ball. Dude, I like have goosebumps right now. Insane. Investigation was good. Location was great. I had a good time doing it besides the fact it was cold as shit. What did you think of Seattle? What did you think of the Washington episode?
The best thing they did in that episode was at the very end as we close the loop, if you will. Taco, say, good night, everybody.
Good night,
say, it's almost last call at booze. It's almost last call at Boozing Bros.
Almost,
folks.
But not quite.
Almost.
Little
Go on, Taco.
buddy.
Go on. Anyway.
Go on, Taco.
Was at the very end of the episode, if you listen to the credits, you have Chris, myself, and Eric all bitchy. Like, Chris is like, oh, I'm so cold. I'm like, I can't feel my face. Eric's like, fuck you, I can't feel my feet. Like, it was just this great transition of that shit they put in there in the credits. I thought was fantastic.
Yeah. And that's one thing that, like, I kind of wish that our editors did a little more was put, because we had a lot of humor in the show. We did, but they didn't put any of it in.
But
I do kind of wish that they
out.
did. That was great.
Kendall out and the kids out. Like, that was awesome. Like, Kendall's one of the best people I've ever met. I still check on her to this day. She's a great human, and be able to help her out was fantastic. That, for me, that episode sucked really bad because I had reshoots up to ask. So as soon as we finished up the ending scene with Kendall, I was literally in a car with Daniel driving to Seattle from Auburn to go interview somebody else about the railroad for episode 6 for Maryland. So, like, that was the busiest one for me, where I was all over the place for that episode. Like, by that episode, they were like, okay, if we want good shit, let's put Caleb or Matt there, and let's make this shit good.
Yeah, I was sick that week, too. No, I was sick in Utah.
You still killed it, bro. You still killed it.
I tried. It was rough, bro. It was rough.
But that's so sick into Utah. First off, I'm pretty sure you had COVID in Utah.
I didn't have COVID in Utah. Whatever. It was a common cold, flu, the CDC whatever. Just announced, it was not COVID.
The CDC just announced that the first cases of COVID were actually trickling in November and December of last year versus what they said in February.
And we were done in October, so whatever.
Anyway, But yeah, that brings us to the last episode of the series.
Drunk.
I'm fucked up, bro. And we're about to talk about Utah fucked up. So bear with us for a quick
drunk.
minute. Utah, Matt.
Dude.
Last call.
Wait. So we're done with Seattle?
Last call here at Booze and Bros. Last call here at Booze and Bros.
Last call at Booze and Bros. I would just like to apologize for us being very unorganized for this podcast because guess what? I didn't organize shit. Neither did Caliph. We literally is just like, well, let's just talk about Ghost Loop and see how it goes. And we literally have the strongest strength that we'll probably ever make.
Yeah. Last call here at Booze and Bros. Last call. Oh,
last call.
My God, brother. It is fucking. Where's the camera at? Is it on this? Oh, over here. There you go. Ha! Last call at Booze and Bros.
Go on.
I totally forgot. Oh yeah, fuck.
We're talking about the most depressing episode, but yet the highest rated episode.
Hey,
our season finale.
I want to say this. We've talked a lot about Utah in the past, right? We've discussed a lot about the stuff. Before we go into the deepness that is Utah, I had some really good sushi in Utah. Some really fucking good sushi in Utah. I want to throw that out there. I think that
hold
out
on.
of the 7 nights we're there, Matt, how many nights did I have sushi?
6.
Yeah.
So we stayed at a hotel in south of downtown Salt Lake City, and we had this sushi joint. I can't even talk. Sushi joint.
No. Words are hard.
My tongue's all fucking
Why
blue.
is your tongue
God damn
blue?
it.
Did you eat out Smurfette? Like, what the fuck, man?
Bro, yeah, Papa Smurf.
Is my tongue blue?
Your tongue's blue too.
This is bullshit.
Bro.
I don't like it.
Yeah, we had a sushi joint next to our hotel, and Caliph was in love with what roll was it, Caliph?
The
sushi roll?
Vegas fucking roll, man. The fucking Vegas roll.
Yeah,
Oh.
one of the most basic rolls out there. But I will admit, I had it
fuck
too.
you.
It
I
was
am
good.
rock hard thinking about that Vegas roll because it was tasty.
I'd eat the shit out of a Vegas roll right now.
But you also didn't have a complete fucking hauled off by ambulance in fucking Utah experience either.
That's true. So let me give my perspective of Utah first, because obviously that episode was about you. So you're really drunk.
Right.
How much did you put in your drink, bro? I'm fucked. Like, I put a lot in both these.
If I'm being 100% real with you, then I'll be real with you right now. Mine was.
You can always be real with me.
Mine was a quarter lemonade, a quarter blue, whatever the fuck that's fucking cacao, or what the fuck it's called, and then the other half Tito's.
So you have like a solid 3 shots of Tito's in there.
6.
Okay, well now it explains why you're at my level after only drinking 1.
This is pretty much blue Tito's with a dash of lemonade. Like, this is pretty much what this is.
Dude, it looks so good. Your drink looks so good.
It's tasty. It's fucking tasty. I'll give the cacao credit. It doesn't fucking like. That's good shit. Good shit.
The cacao.
Season ender here at fucking Booze and Bros.
Season ender, year ender of 2020. We are done with 2020. Utah, just go ahead, man. I mean, like you said, we've talked about it. It was a rough time for me watching.
It was heavy.
Watching
it was
you
heavy.
go down.
It was heavy,
and
but
stuff,
at the same
but,
time, it was such a beautiful thing, right? It was heavy, but it was so beautiful. Because what that did was that put me at the first step in my own fucking journey of moving forward and being able to accept the fact that I am, 1, a suicide survivor, and 2, that it's not something that you just deal with and then automatically gets better. It's something you have to continuously put work in and continuously be a part of. You know, if anything, Utah taught me that I'm only at the beginning of my journey. And as heavy as that shit was, and as hard as it was necessary for me to understand what I had been through by watching somebody else have to go through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I mean, I was there.
Well,
let me ask you this question. Hold on.
No, I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you. So last call here at Booze and Bros. This is the last call here at Booze and Bros, folks. Last call.
We've already said that.
And at last call, I want to ask you a question because specifically, I have talked so much about this experience. I have talked so much about what Utah meant, the impact and suicide and all that type of stuff. I want to actually know from the flip side, from my brother, what it was like to have to watch all that go down. Because that's the thing, is everybody asked me what my side was. Nobody asked how it was for you to be there and have to live through it. So instead of me telling you about Utah, I want to hear from you, from your standpoint, where you were, what it looked like through your eyes.
Well, I mean, you guys remember, you specifically, Caliph, obviously, the kitchen scene where us five spent a whole hour talking about everything. And, you know, in the episode, it's about a 2-minute scene, but I sat there in the kitchen with you to my right sitting on the counter, and you and Sean and Eric, a little bit of Chris were talking, and I couldn't say a word because all I thought about was you trying to take your own life. And all I thought about was you not being on this earth. You know what I mean? And the fact that a kid who reminds me of my little brother in Thai was in the same situation, didn't want to be here. You know what I mean? And him being gone. So it basically led me to thinking that I have a bunch of brothers who don't want to be on this earth and who took their own life. And that's what basically that whole week was. It was just a bunch of negativity, a bunch of, it made me really understand a lot more about what you went through mentally and even physically. And same with Ty, and same with the whole, you know, world of you know, suicide prevention and mental health. And it really opened my eyes way more to all that. And I'm such a pusher and just good vibes mentality because of that, because I can't even imagine, especially in 2020, bro. I mean, you know this, suicide rates are skyrocketing. And if I can help, like you say all the time, you can help one person, you know what I mean? That's good. That's enough. But for me, I'm like, I wish if anybody out there is watching this and has any of those thoughts at all, we are here to help. Like 1000%. I will never, ever, ever ignore somebody who reaches out and has these problems. I will never ignore them, because you never know. They could be gone the next day.
But in that same vein, we're not doctors, right? We can't diagnose you. We can't do what a doctor can, get you on the right meds, stuff like that. You know, me, I'm on 150 milligrams of Zoloft every day. And I feel fucking great. I feel fucking great every day. Like I have a different outlook on life because of that medicine. But does that make it go away? No. You know, you have to embrace what you've gone through, who you are, what you've done, and know that those scars are there forever. But that doesn't make you a shitty person. Now, with Ty, it was heartbreaking for me the absolute most, because we shared the same fucking date, just a year apart. Yeah. You know, I attempted suicide by hanging myself on 10/8/17. He attempted to kill himself by slitting his wrists on 10/8/18. So a year apart, same day. And that's what spurred this whole thing. And I have to give a lot of credit to Mary, because Mary took that and didn't exploit it by any stretch of the imagination, but brought suicidal ideation and suicide to such an extent that people actually had to look at it. And to me, if I say anything like on the season ender right here, on this fucking the year ender, I have to appreciate Mary, because what she promised me when we talked about this whole thing is exactly what she delivered, which was an episode that deals in suicide, that deals in mental illness, but not in a negative limelight.
Fuck, man. Like, it's rough, bro. Like the fact that she did that, and like I'm just thinking of like the disclaimer at the beginning and the end of the episode. It's rough. I mean, we've been drinking too. Obviously, We're going to be a little more.
Once we're done with the podcast, I'm gonna go watch that episode, because I haven't watched that episode since it aired, and I think it'd be kind of cool to look at it. I think it'd be kind of cool to look at it again with a different set of eyes. You know, being medicated now and being so further along, I think it'd be kind of cool to fucking watch now and see what that was like. So I might go on a little ghost loop bender here real quick, because I haven't watched any of them since they aired.
Yeah, I know. I need to just watch a full marathon of it and critique myself
Well, when I come
critique
down to
you.
fucking LA next month, we should fucking sit back, have some drinks,
Let's
and just
do
do a
it.
fucking Ghost
Let's
Loop
do
marathon.
it.
Lastly,
All right.
in part about Ghost Loop, the one thing I have to say is that one, I'm the most partial to Ghost Loop because my best friend I made because of Ghost Loop. I look at the team that we had, the people that we had, and we had this eclectic group of individuals that all brought something special to the table. And I'm fortunate for the time we had on the road. It sucks that Ghost Loop didn't get renewed. We didn't get a season 2. But at the same time, I am so, like, a year out, I am so happy of what we accomplished and what we brought to the table. I really am. And, you know, Ghost Hunting Pierce can bitch about our show, say it was the worst show ever, whatever the fuck you want to say. Cool, whatever. I'm happy with the people we helped and how we helped them. And bar none, I'm thankful for the experiences that we got being on the road for Ghost Loop.
It's well put. You can't go first because every time you go first in ending this podcast, I always agree with you and I have nothing else to say.
Well, what are your last thoughts on Ghost Loop, bro?
Man, I'll admit right now, man, like that was literally the best 2 months of my life. Just being with, again, I made my best friend there. I was hunting ghosts, which is my passion. I was filming, which is my other passion. Traveling the United States of America, getting to meet all these new people. And it was an experience. And you know, yeah, you're right, man. It sucks we didn't get a season 2. You know, and of course there's reasons for it, but you and I are still chugging. We have a future. We have connections. We're gonna shock the world again. We're gonna shock the world.
Yeah.
I know we are. It's a process. And like you said, the experience with Ghost Loop I'll never forget. And it made me grow as an investigator, as a person in the film industry, and as a person in general, you know, and I don't regret any of it, bro. Not at all.
Right. In that vein, I want to say, you know, there's a lot of talk about the team and dissension with us and all that stuff. I hope Sean fucking kills it and has a platinum record. I hope Eric helps a million people doing what he's doing. I am so proud of Chris Starr for fighting against all the shit she has pulled against her to make great content. And you and I, we already know the magic is going to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Loop is the first step for all of us. And all 5 of us, no matter what the fuck happens or where we are in life, we will all be bonded by Ghost Loop. And I could not be more thankful than the 5 people that I got to work with for fucking 3 months of my life to make such an awesome product.
Well said, man. That's the way to end it right there, baby. God damn it.
With that being said,
I'm drunk.
With that being said, yeah, I'm fucked
I'm
up.
drunk.
With that being said, we'll see you guys in 2021 with some more booze and bros. This wraps out the year. Hashtag Ghost Loop. Hashtag alien butt stuff. Hashtag I want to suck your butt. Hashtag what else do we have?
We don't not quit.
Hashtag pumpkin butt sucker. All that shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a good one.
We have a lingo here at Booze and Bros. Also, I do want to say, again, we shouted you guys out last episode, but the Fear Friends, you know, Brianna, Melissa, Sophia, you know, my number one fan, Erica, all of you guys that support us week in and week out with the shit that we do. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to Craigo. Thank you to everybody, you know, that busts their ass that comes out and supports us. We could not do this without you guys. And believe it or not, we actually appreciate the holy fuck out of all of you.
I agree. I also want to shout out my fucking family because I miss you guys so fucking much. And I know every single one of you guys listen to this, and I'm so sorry because we are completely unfiltered, and this is probably a Matt that you guys don't see a lot. But Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah,
well.
hashtag Merry Christmas. Just for you, Jess, I want to say that that your brother is a badass. I know that we haven't really ever interacted, but like, you're awesome, killing it. Fuck yeah. Your little brother is gangster, you've told me. Hi mom, hi dad. For my family, I've got my brother and my sister. My brother has no idea how to read, so he couldn't watch this. And my sister, fuck you. You picked Matt over me, Jamie, Irene.
Done. Jamie,
Done.
I got a signed photograph coming your way.
Okay.
Guys,
I will fucking kill you.
So we are out of 2020. 2021's coming, and we are going to open up with true crime, baby. Oh, let's do it. All right, we're
As
out,
time
dude.
talks
We're
to
drunk.
murder, death, all that shit. We're fucked up. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great New Year. Is it New Year yet? No. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Wash your balls.
Jingle all the way, bitches.
Follow along. Go fuck yourself.